Hey, this is Yang Nguyen, and you're listening to the Immi Wealth Builder podcast, where we celebrate incredible immigrant success stories, share proven strategies, and give you actionable steps to build your wealth, freedom, and a lasting legacy. Let's go get it. Today, we have Elisa Covington, and I'm so excited for you to hear her story, how she became a successful flipper in one of the hottest and most expensive markets in the US, how she scale and grow. And I'm just really excited for you to hear how this can be your strategy in building wealth. So Elisa, take it away. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you come to the US and how you got into real estate in the first place.
Thank you so much for having me. So I came to the States after college. So after working briefly in Beijing for Google, and then I decided to pursue my MBA degree in the US. So I went to Northwestern, the Kellogg School of Management, and I learned a lot of business related classes, skills, and did a lot of networking and also partied a bunch because my school kind of had this reputation of a party school. So we had a lot of events, a lot of balls. So after school, I started working for a tech company in the Silicon Valley. And then, like, after a while, I just realized that I'm not really built for corporate. I got so bored and I feel so unmotivated and uninspired by my job. And I started looking elsewhere for kind of a more flexibility, more freedom. And then that's when I found real estate. So I started investing in real estate first through purchasing my first home and also buying my first rental property. And then I looked at many different strategies and then landed on fix and flip.
Wow, fascinating. I love that you share how the W-2 was a little bit unmotivating and boring, which I think a lot of
Mhm.
us can relate to. Some of us may
Mhm.
hey, we're getting burned out, but there's a certain side of things when like is this it for life? Is this just the days in, days
Right.
out? So I
Right.
love that you recognize that and now looking at for elsewhere for that challenge to take on. Tell a little bit
Mhm.
more about that first step. So at this point, you haven't owned your primary home yet. How do you even prepare for that first purchase and then also purchasing a rental? Break down a little bit for us kind of what kind of education or learning did you do beforehand, how you build your team, and how you come up with that first initial down payment for these properties.
To purchase my first home, it was really just saving, right? Like us Asians are
Yeah.
very good at saving. So as soon as I started working, I wasn't really like spending most of the money I made. I just put it aside in a savings account. And I didn't know what I was going to use it for yet, but I was just saving up. And then when the market was kind of at the rock bottom, that was right after the Great Recession in 2008. So I graduated from MBA in 2010. And then after working
Mm.
for about 2 years, I had some savings. And then I started looking at potentially buying my first home as a single woman at the time. It was kind of scary
Mhm.
because I always thought I would purchase my first home after I get married, after like I would be ready to start a family, but it wasn't happening at the time yet. So I just decided to make the move on my own.
Love it. And there is a statistic out there that actually there's a lot of homes owned by single women versus single man. So I love that us women are taking that strides and buying home and owning asset all for that.
Yeah.
So you
Mhm.
bought your first home from savings and it was a great timing for that point to get into the market. And I'm assuming this was
Mhm.
where you were working at the time in the Bay Area.
Mhm.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I was
then
working full time.
awesome. So then from your first home, how then you propel to buying this next rental?
Yeah, so I purchased the first home, had to do a light renovation, and then I decided to rent part of the home out. So it was a 2 bedroom, 2 bath condo. So I was renting the spare bedroom out. So later on, I learned that it's called house hacking. But back then, I didn't know that term. Like it relieves the pressure from
Yeah.
like paying the mortgage
Perfect.
and like not being able to save more money.
Yeah.
So like it allowed me to save up more. And also because I purchased a home at the kind of the rock bottom of the real estate market. So like the market really kind of like it went up after I purchased it. So the value of the home appreciated a lot. So I was able to borrow a HELOC from the equity I have in the house after just owning it for 2 years. So I
Nice.
used that HELOC to purchase my first rental property, also in San Francisco,
Okay.
a condo.
Awesome. Okay. And you mentioned that after you purchased that, primary home, that rental, did you try other like different type of investing strategy before you decide that fix and flip is where you're gonna go all in?
So I was really looking to just become a landlord, just buy multiple rental properties and then use a cash flow to replace my W-2 income. But then on my rental property, I had to do a renovation.
Yeah.
So it was not in great shape because it was a rental for many years, very old kitchen, old carpet. So my then boyfriend, now husband, actually helped me with the DIY renovation. Like I say, he helped me, but it's actually more like he was doing it. And I was like just assisting.
Free labor.
Because I didn't have any background in renovations. He's very handy. He knows what he was doing. So we slaved ourselves in that condo for 2 months because we were both working full time and we
No.
only had weekends to
Yeah.
spare to work on that project. And it was like a lot of hard work, a lot of labor to renovate a very tiny 500 square foot condo. We just gutted the kitchen, put in new flooring, and repainted the interior. And it took 2 months. It was a very painful experience. We hated ourselves and we almost broke up because of like, when you do renovations, you're very stressed out and you have a lot of decisions to make. So it was intense. And then after the whole project was done, the results were stunning. It was really like completely changed the condo. But we realized that if we had hired professionals to do the work, we could have saved so much pain, so much
Yeah.
time. Like it would have been done in 2 weeks because it was a very small place. So that's when I like kind of started working on like the business mindset. Like before I was more of a like, oh, do it myself kind of mentality. But then I realized that it's important to hire professionals to delegate to a team so that I can do work way more efficiently. And then from there, because of the renovation results, we were able to get very good rent for the condo. And then after a year, the value of the place appreciated by about 40%. So that's when I sold the place and then started watching HGTV. And then a light bulb just went off. I was like, wait, what I did on my rental was essentially house flipping. So I realized that I'm really interested in this type of business. It's the numbers side and the design aspect are so interesting. That's how I decided to get into the world of flipping houses.
Wow. Yeah, I love that you share and be real authentic about how challenging it is sometimes to work with your significant other. I work with my boyfriend as well, and there is a lot of different layers of communication. Obviously, right? We're in a relationship, but there is a business relationship, working relationship that also needs to be navigated. So for sure, if you want a challenge for your relationship, try to do a live-in flip or try to do a flip together. Physically doing flip together, and that could very be a good test of how you can navigate the relationship. So I love that you share how you guys force the appreciation, right? So you guys don't just wait for the market. Obviously, it sounds like at that point, there is some market appreciation, which comes down to picking the market, right? Where would you invest? So there is that natural appreciation from the market, but you guys also force appreciate the property by physically doing the work. And I know for a lot of people who listening, if you're starting out, that might be the familiar journey, right? There's a lot of sweat equity that's happening. And I'm not sure how you feel, Lisa. That was like my journey as well. And I'm not sure if it's almost like a rite of passage when people who physically doing the work and realize, wait, this is actually really painful. And for that pain point to then propel, us to then grow into building a system, building a team, building a network to really scale. I'm not sure if that pain was necessary. So for the listeners, let us know. If you have done something that you felt like it was necessary for you to learn the pain and really don't do it again, or if you're just starting out and you actually completely jump into hiring a team, let us know. Really want to hear that. I really want to ask you about how you guys then realize, like, hey, instead of renting it out, I'm guessing, do you guys pull out a line of credit or do you guys refinance once the equity?
I just got a
there?
HELOC
You guys
from
got a
my
line
first
credit.
home.
But what
Yeah.
about the rental? Once it's appreciate, did you guys pull out? Do you guys tap into the equity that you guys built from?
No, I just decided to sell it.
Oh, you decided to sell.
Yeah.
Got it. Perfect. So then that was essentially kind of like a longer flip, so to speak.
That was before I got married. So
I see.
I owned the properties by myself.
Got it. Okay. So then
Yeah.
from there, you guys decide like, hey, looks like you guys like the numbers, you guys like the design aspect, and flipping seems to be that strategy that will work for you. Tell us more about then how you, I guess, consider finding that next project, because the numbers looks different whether it's a rental or a flip.
Yeah, a lot happened between then and when I started actually flipping houses.
Okay.
I started going to a lot of real estate events and I met a lot of people like speakers and organizers of real estate kind of clubs. And then I really tried to educate myself. I purchased a course and then I also just tried to build my network of other investors and with real estate agents as well. So, like, I did a lot of kind of homework before I was able to find my first flip deal.
Awesome. Tell us more about that first flip deal, if you remember, like the numbers,
Yeah.
how you find it.
I always remember it.
Love it. We all remember our first project. Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, it was a nightmare of a project. It was so painful. That's why I would never forget it.
I love it.
Yeah, it was anything that could go wrong went wrong. I think the main issue, like the reason why it was so difficult, first of all, is I didn't really spend a lot of time looking or vetting the contractor. So I just hired pretty much, I went out and hired the first contractor I saw. And then the second issue was I took on too big and too complicated of a project. It was a Victorian style home, over 2,000 or 2,500 square foot
Wow.
in size.
Yeah.
So I think over 100 years old.
Yeah.
So like a lot of infrastructure had to be upgraded and there were a lot of deferred maintenance. So like the renovation costs went over and then I had issue with the contractor. And then like when it comes time to sell the property, it also took longer to sell because of how big it was.
Yeah. That's interesting. There's a lot of good lesson learned definitely there that Elisa just brought up. One, finding contractor. And Elisa, don't worry, my first contractor I found was through Craigslist. And he totally took my money and did not do the job. So
Oh no.
lesson learned there. Don't
Oh,
find
I'm so
contractors
sorry
through
to hear that.
Craigslist. It's okay. It's a part of the tuition money in this phase. So yeah, tip number
Right.
one, don't find contractor through Craigslist. But I love that you share about, vetting contractor, right? And this can expand to any of the team member that you work with. contractor,
For
property
sure.
management company, realtor, all that stuff, right? I always advise
Mm-hmm.
people to get recommendation from other people, from other investors. That's
Mm-hmm.
always one of the good way to find it. But definitely vetting the
Mm-hmm.
people you work with, right? The second thing you
Mm-hmm.
brought up there was actually finding the right avatar for the property. And you mentioned Victorian house. If you do anything in real estate specifically, anything that is historic, beautiful, amazing, love it. Very expensive to fix. There is also a high chance that it might also be in some sort of historic district, which make a lot of
There are
permit zoning,
restrictions.
a lot of restriction, right? So just take that in mind. My point is that you can make money doing any of these things, but you just have to find the right strategy for the right avatar. And you just have to take all this and tap into the underwriting and the analysis, right? So I love that you share
Yeah.
about how, because it was not only Victorian, but it's also very large, which is very hard for, it's only fit a certain type of buyer. So that limits your buyer's
Mm-hmm.
pool, which make the sales
Right.
process a little bit harder. But Alyssa, that project, even though it was not a home run, there's a lot of headaches, you kept going, right? So for the listeners out there, even if your first project was an absolute nightmare, disaster, mine was too, it's okay. Keep going.
I think in my experience, it was really key that I had a mentor at the time who guided me through that process, who
Yeah.
saved me from so many headaches,
Yeah.
from making like very scary mistakes and really mitigated the risks for me. So that's how I was able to survive the project without
Yeah.
losing money and also had the confidence to keep going.
I love it.
It was really important.
Yes, very key there. What Elisa just mentioned, find a mentor, find a community, find those people who have been where you wanted to go. And those people, like you said, will save you from either making the same mistake or be there to pick you up once you make the mistakes and know that it's okay to get out of it. So that was your first project. Let's fast forward a little bit to like now. Kind of define us a little bit like what type of project you're looking for now. Are you very hyper focused in a certain area, certain avatar, or how has your investment thesis kind of evolved from that first project?
So right now I do flips all over the Bay Area, like all the way from San Francisco to like Gilroy, Santa Cruz. I'm not hyper focused on like one area because deals are very hard to come by. So you want to kind of not limit yourself in a small area so that you can have a lot of deal flow. Like in terms of progress, when I was starting out, I was still working 9 to 5. So I was doing like my first year, I did only 2 projects. And then from my second year, I left my full-time job. So I was able
Okay.
to do more. I would say in the beginning, I was doing like maybe 8 projects a year.
Nice.
And in the last couple of years, I really scaled the business and I'm doing now probably somewhere between 15 to 20 a year. So
That's
this
amazing.
year, I've already sold 12 houses.
Oh, that's amazing. Tell us a little bit more about, because everybody kind of hit like a bottleneck at some point in their growth. Tell us what was that for you and how you remove it to get to where you're at right now.
I think the first bottleneck, as I mentioned, was probably my full-time job because I was so limited by how much time I had to use on the business. So once I left my full-time job, I was able to just dedicate myself into the business and really scale it.
Yeah.
And then the second time, the bottleneck was in my mindset. So this happened probably last year or the year before. I realized that I had this mental block. It's like I was content with what I was doing. I was content with how many projects I was doing. I was content with the amount of profits I was making. Like I didn't have bigger goals in mind. And that was the reason. So last year, I decided to change that. So I worked on my mindset and I decided to aim for more, to aim for higher. And then I was able to increased my business by 50%.
Wow, that's amazing. I think those are always the two biggest pieces for people to grow: time and mindset. Tell us a little bit more about that time piece. Like right now, it's only May, 5 months. You guys already did about 12 houses. What is your specific role? How do you choose what to spend your time on as you continue to grow?
Yeah, so my role in the business is pretty much everything. So it's a one woman show, right?
Okay.
So I'm the business. But from my lesson that I shared early on, I know that I can't do everything all by myself. If
Yeah.
I did that, I would burn myself out and also not be able to do multiple projects at once.
Okay.
So I do work with a lot of other people, my team members,
Yeah.
so that they can share the workload and they
Yeah.
are the people that I can trust. I don't have to worry about every single aspect of the business. So I think that's really key in how I was able to scale the business, how I was able to do a lot of flips at once. Like right now, I have like 10 projects, but I'm still able to work on my social media, make YouTube videos. I wrote a book and I have a
Nice.
coaching program. So like I could do all the other things that
Yeah.
are so important to me and spending quality time with my family, go on trips and stuff. So that makes my life more fulfilled and also it's a good balance.
Wow. Tell us more about that makeup of your team. I guess specifically for Flip, because I know, as you mentioned, YouTube video coaching, I'm sure you have different team members for that. But for the flipping side specifically,
Sure, yeah. So first of all, before you can flip a house, you need deals.
Yeah.
So the deals are brought to me by real estate agents. So they are very important on my team because like they're not really within the organization, but they are part of the process.
Yep.
So the real estate agents are agents that I've built connections with. A lot of them have been with me for many years and we've worked on multiple projects together. So they bring the deals to me. I know like a lot of other investors, they tend to like look for their own deals. They try to bypass real estate agents. I like a lot of them have great success too, but it's not kind of my business model. I want to be able to delegate as much as possible. So agents bring me deals and I save all the headaches to like have to deal with homeowners, have to
Yep.
spend a lot of money on marketing and spending a lot of time on deal acquisition. So that's what I like about working with real estate agents.
Awesome.
And the second piece is my contractor.
Yeah.
So once we have a project, we decide on the scope of work, and then I give the projects to them so that they take care of all the project management, all the like raw material sourcing, and make sure that the project is on track and on budget. I don't go on the job site to visit that often.
Okay.
Like from the purchase to the sale, I probably only visit the project 3 to 4 times.
Okay.
So it's very little time in the field.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, it saves so much time. And then after that, there's the sales team, right? After the project is all renovated, we need to put it on the market for sale. So that's when we have professional photographers, stager,
Yep.
and inspectors, and then the agents to sell the home for top dollar.
Awesome. Sounds good. So then what I'm hearing is, in order to scale like this, as you mentioned, a lot of investors may be looking for off-market deals, which is fine too, right? They can also build relationship with wholesalers, all that stuff. But essentially what I'm hearing is you just have different team member at different role. So even though you're a one-woman show, you have a lot of team members who are professional at what they do, who are fully in charge of that role. So realtors or wholesaler, if you choose to go off-market, and then contractors. With like 10 projects going on right now, do you have different contractor teams? Okay.
I do, yeah.
That makes sense.
I
So then
have
that
a
just
main
get divided.
contractor and then I have a kind of a backup contractor, but both of them have big crews so that they can work on multiple projects at once.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit more about the funding at this place. Like, how do you fund your project?
Right now, the funding is pretty simple. I get a hard money loan on the purchase, and then I fund the rest myself. But when I was starting out, I didn't have that much capital. So I used a hard money loan. And also on some of my projects, I brought in a private money lender or an equity partner to help me fund the rest of the acquisition
Awesome.
so that I could do multiple projects at once.
Sounds great. Tell us a bit more about kind of what's next for you. You've been growing a lot. It's only May. You already have 12 projects sold. You have 10s going on right now. Tell us more about what your focus are for this year, or what are some of your goals you have for this year, whether it's your flipping business or any other business that you may have.
Mhm. So for this year, of course, we're going to keep growing the business and we're keep growing our coaching community as well. Most of my students have already finished their first, second projects and they made six-figure profits on their projects. So we're looking to grow that community and help more people to really break free the corporate chain to like take control of their lives. And then I'm also looking to spend more time with my family. I have a lot of travel plans made for the rest of the year. We're actually leaving for Europe in about 3 weeks. Yeah. So
How
we're gonna
fun.
be gone for about a month.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also, I'm looking to kind of give back more to the society, to work on more charity like contributions, and
Mhm.
also potentially set up my own nonprofit organization.
I love that. Oh my gosh. I definitely have to reach out and talk to you more as you do that. Okay, awesome. I definitely want to switch to your mystery question. So
Okay.
this was one of the questions that was left behind by a previous guest. And your question is, what does success mean for you? How do you define success?
My view of success changed over time. So before, I probably was more thinking about how I could succeed in my business, right? It was very simple. It was just how to be successful in your career, how to take care of your own family. But now, as my business keep growing, as I'm trying to make my life more fulfilled, I feel like it's too narrow-minded with how I was looking at it before. So I'm more looking for ways for me to make a bigger impact
Yeah.
in the world, for me to influence more people. That's why we have this coaching community where I help more like people to take control of their lives. And also, I have my YouTube channel where I share my experience, my journey, and tips and tricks with a broader audience so that they can look for inspiration for their home renovations, or if they're interested in investing, they can find the courage to do that because I came from not knowing anything
Yeah.
myself. And also, I wrote the book, Flipping Houses Quick Start Guide,
No, nice.
to guide people through this process as well. So I think, like, to me, success means like the more people you influence, the more lives you help,
Yep.
the more successful you are.
I love it. I think this is a common journey as entrepreneur growth, right? At first, is there's a
Mhm,
lot of, what can I get out of it? And eventually it
mhm,
becomes the legacy that you leave, the
mhm.
life that you touch. So I love that you share that. I know you kind of, thinking about more charity, nonprofit. Tell more maybe a cause or a charity that may be close to your heart that maybe the audience can support to thank you for your time and your contribution today.
Yeah, so I made some contribution to this charity called Building Education. So this is funded by a friend of mine, Wendy Shu, and she helps build schools in rural Nepal. I think it's a really great cause because not only they help the kids there get education, and also they bring like drinkable water over there so that the death rate had dramatically reduced. And it's a really impactful thing that so like it means that we're not only worried about like our immediate environment, right? Like not just people around us, but people further away. Especially it's so close to my heart because I came from China. That's very close to Nepal. And I know a lot of rural areas in China that are so underdeveloped, and the kids there really need education so that they can change the future for their families. So that's probably where my nonprofit, future nonprofit, would be about as well. How to help people in maybe Southeast Asia or other developing countries, especially women, because we're such an underserved group. Like how to help those people to also learn about the power of real estate and to change their lives.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Tell us the audience how they can find out more about you and follow your journey.
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is called Transform Real Estate. That's where I share before and after videos, tips and tricks on home renovations, on real estate investing. And then my Instagram is Transform Real Estate as well. I post daily on there a lot of small things I learned from my flips and like a lot of updates on my projects.
Awesome.
And also, if you're interested in learning how to flip houses, a coaching program is called Transform Flipper Academy. And it's transformflipperacademy.com.
Sweet. We'll link all that in the show notes. Thank you so much for your time today, for sharing your story, your expertise, and just sharing your journey building wealth through real estate. I can't wait to hear more about your nonprofit and your growth this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yay.